basically what this is we're gonna basically just probably sit down for like a while, talk about like transfer rumors, like who, like when it gets round to it, whoever won Player of the Month, how United are playing. Just this channel's gonna be anything United, really. So Paul Pogba wins Player of the Month for um, is it 4 goals, 3 assists? Yeah, 4 goals, 3 assists in 6 appearances. Um, we would never have got that under Mourinho. Never have got that under Mourinho.
Probably wouldn't have taken a shot under Mourinho, to be honest.
No, because if you take a shot under Mourinho, you get benched. Simple as.
Fred is a prime example. Yep.
Look at Fred, scores that banger against Wolves, never to be seen again.
Can you imagine, though, that Ander Herrera goal? If he had scored that, if he had taken that shot, regardless of whether it went in or not, he
would have been
just,
straight to
yeah.
the under 23s. And it's ridiculous the way Mourinho used to manage United, like, and now they're playing brilliant football on Solskjaer.
It's ridiculous, because like, you got people like all these professional like commentators and all that are talking about how it shows like the professionalism of United players. At the end of the day, if Mourinho was as like half as negative as we think he was, you can't blame the players for not wanting to play under him. I mean,
exactly.
From how it looks from an outside perspective, it's almost as if Mourinho is just a massive bully. And how
exactly,
can you...
Like, look at the training ground bust up between him and Pogba.
Yeah, like it's okay, maybe players not playing well for Mourinho is a little bit unprofessional, but Mourinho's the unprofessional one in the first place, starting little fights with players all over the place. Like, what kind of a manager starts a feud with a player, not just any old player, but Paul Pogba, our biggest.
Exactly.
He is kind of at the moment the face of Manchester United.
I'm probably getting hate for this, but Pogba at the minute is the best midfielder in the world. I don't care what anyone says. Pogba is the best midfielder in the world. 100% guaranteed.
At this current moment in time, yeah. Based on the last 3 games.
Exactly. And people are going to be like, oh, it's Cardiff, it's Huddersfield, it's Bournemouth. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make that argument because you say if you want to go into, oh yeah, Pogba's only performing against Huddersfield and Bournemouth. Do we want to look at Modric for a second then? Modric is playing against Spanish farmers week in, week out.
Exactly. Like look at Naby Keita. Liverpool fans are all like, oh, he's the player United fans expecting Pogba to be. Who has more goals? Who has more assists? Who has more fucking clean sheets, for fuck's sake? Or is it Keita that has more clean sheets?
Yeah, that's Keita. We've conceded like pretty much every... Regardless, Keita, what is it, like Keita doesn't even have a goal contribution this season yet, does he?
No. He hasn't scored, hasn't assisted.
The thing is though, you look at Pogba. Pogba is the perfect midfielder in many respects because not only you look at his goal contribution stats, very high, and then you look at his interceptions and his defensive play, very high. Yeah. But don't let that distract you from the fact he's got no work rates though. Like,
yeah, it's like I don't know who it was, but someone said Paul Pogba is basically Paul Scholes, except Scholes didn't have the pace Pogba has. I think it was Gary Neville that said it, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I think Gary Neville came out and said that.
Was it not Gary Neville that said he wouldn't mind to see Pogba gone with his attitude towards Mourinho?
Yeah, but you know what Gary Neville's like. He changes his opinion every 5 minutes.
That's very true.
I mean, he compared diving to bread in a restaurant, for God's sake.
Gary Neville is very inconsistent.
Yeah, I know.
Then again, he has his reasons. Because to be fair, Pogba
To be fair, the
he
timing of that post was really badly timed
yeah,
on Adidas's part, which I could see why Neville was pissed about that. Because you upload a post saying, "Oh, caption this," after your manager's been sacked,
yeah.
you're gonna be like, you're gonna see that and think, "Wait, what the fuck?"
Well, yeah. I probably had the wrong reaction, to be honest. I just laughed at it. I was in such a good mood after Mourinho was sacked that I just laughed at that. I honestly couldn't care less. I just
and then about an hour later, I injured myself and got an ankle in. So I guess it's calm for laughing, really. I don't know.
could say so.
But it's just the whole Pogba and Mourinho situation was just a mess. I mean, obviously Mourinho is in the past. Don't really want to spend this entire
this is the whole thing talking about Mourinho. Final thing on Mourinho though, and then we'll finish off. I feel like that battle between Mourinho and Pogba was just the end of Mourinho 100%, because when that started, you had the whole Lukaku sided with Mourinho, Pogba was against Mourinho, and then Lukaku and Pogba had that falling out, and suddenly any attacking threat that we somehow had playing Mourinho's style of football just started to break down because the chemistry was falling apart. No one liked each other. The whole squad was just in this massive feud, and that just finished Mourinho off.
Yeah, it's like Wales finishes a manager off, the board coming out and saying, "Oh, he's got our full backing."
Yeah, he's got our full support. Gone the next day.
It's a curse with us, honestly. Happened with Mr. Horny Football himself.
Possession is the only important stat.
And then I swear it happened with...
Might have happened with Moyes.
He who must not be named.
Oh, I named him. Apologies.
God damn it. It happened with him as well.
Yeah.
And then that was literally like the same day. That was the same day.
Yep. Moving on though, rather than talking about the Dark Ages, let's not talk about this. Let's go on to Solskjaer. The Newcastle game tonight. Rashford out through injury. Bailly out through suspension. Smalling still injured. Alexis is back though.
Well, yeah. I mean, predicted lineup. I'm going with Dave in goal.
Well, yeah.
Delot, Jones, Lindelof, Shaw, Pogba, Matic, Herrera.
Yeah.
Tony, Rom, Sanchez.
Yeah.
100%. That's going to be the lineup.
Maybe Lingard starts on the right and then Sanchez comes on halfway through, because obviously coming back from injury.
Come back from a hamstring injury. Then again, he's had enough rest, really. Yeah. To be honest, because he did rest the Bournemouth game.
Didn't Solskjaer say that Alexis wanted to play Bournemouth, but they didn't want to risk it?
Solskjaer wanted to rest him.
Yeah.
Solskjaer's definitely starting him tonight, 100%.
Yeah.
Unless we go with a midfielder. See, it's the midfield that's the unpredictable part. Because we've got so many midfielders. We've got Fred, Pogba, Matic, Lingard, Mata.
That's true. I don't feel like he'll start Fred, but if we're gonna start Alexis up in right wing, then I don't know. I feel like he'll want to play Lingard.
Yeah.
Because Lingard, with Rashford out of the squad, Lingard is that player. But at the same time, Ander Herrera, they're two players that will play for the badge. Two players who won't stop running, basically.
The thing is, I feel like we either play a 4-3-3-4, like with an attacking midfielder, because there's like five bloody variations of the 4-3-3. It gets really confusing.
Yeah.
Or we'll play a 4-4-2 with or 4-1-2-1-2 with Popper in that central attacking midfield spot, Matic in that CDM spot, Tony on the left hand side, Lingard right hand side, Sanchez, Lukaku strikers.
Yeah. So no Herrera.
basically. I think Herrera will be on the bench though, and he'll make an appearance like in the second half.
I don't know. I feel like in terms of like overall midfield, obviously Pogba stood out a lot for his goals and assists. But looking at Herrera, like Herrera's ball to Pogba for that one goal was insane. I feel like Herrera has done enough to secure his spot in the team recently. I don't feel like benching Herrera is a good move. But then everybody has. That's the problem.
That's the thing.
You're trying to
well as well.
You're trying to bring Alexis Sanchez back into a team that's played week in, week out recently under Solskjaer, just proving why they should be playing. You cannot pick out a player in our team at the moment who shouldn't be there.
Except probably
except
Fellaini
maybe
for that. But Solskjaer even come out and said Fellaini isn't part of his plan.
But in our starting lineup, that is. Like, you can't pick a player who hasn't deserved it. Even Phil Jones has looked like a completely different player.
What the fuck is going on there?
But then at the same time,
suddenly turned into prime Maldini.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shock to a lot of people, but I don't know whether you remember, there was an interview once with Sir Alex where he said he thought Phil Jones could be a world-class centre-back.
Well, yeah. And he's starting to become a world-class centre-back. I mean,
he's had a good few games, but yeah.
Look at Chris Smalling under Louis Van Turnip.
Yeah.
As I like to call him, as I dub him, Louis Van Turnip.
But do you know what, right? I have a theory with our centre-backs. Because Smalling came out and said that season the reason he played so well was the fear of Ramos. Because we were linked to Ramos a lot at that point.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to get benched for Ramos or even sold. And now... now, like, Mourinho didn't have the backing of the board. So Jones thought, okay, they're not going to buy a centre-back. I'm safe. And I feel like now Ollie's in, Ollie will push and push and push for that centre-back signing.
Yeah.
And so Jones is like, hang about, I need to step up here. I need to start playing. And, I mean, to be fair, if that's what it takes, just threaten to sign Koulibaly. If Jones keeps playing like he is, I'm happy with him as centre-back.
See, but the thing is, I'll still want Koulibaly. And I'll still want Koulibaly to start week in, week out if we do sign him.
Yeah.
And that's an if there's any Liverpool fans that somehow decide to watch it, it's an if.
Yeah.
It's like you getting Fekir, it's an if. Not an it's gonna happen, it's
don't know what
an
you're
if.
talking about. They have signed Fekir.
It's like, what?
In their heads they have.
Yeah, exactly. It's more stupid than Chelsea signing an American United fan.
Well, yeah.
We all know
an American United fan, unproven in a competitive league, and massively overhyped by the fact he's America's only decent player at this current moment in time.
Exactly. Because Clint Dempsey's retired.
Yeah. I mean, I just... but off topic for United, but I just think that's a very risky signing, especially when they've already got Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why would you then think I'm going to go buy another young player unless they're going to sell Odoi to Bayern?
Maybe. See, that's the thing. I'd take Odoi at United. 100%. He is...
Would you though?
He's a decent young player.
Yeah, he's good, but would you play Odoi? And Martial, Rashford, Lingard, Lukaku, Alexis?
See, that's the thing. I wouldn't play him straight away. I'd loan him out for maybe like 2 years, and then bring him back when he's more developed as a player.
Or
Kinda
maybe
like, who was it that signed someone and then loaned them out for like 2 years, and then they were like really good?
Andres Pereira.
No, pre-season wonder.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get hate for that, but he's not done too great.
I mean,
I would probably get hate for that, but he hasn't. We can all admit it.
The thing is with Odoi, there's two options. The thing is, you could leave him at Chelsea and think, right, if he continues to perform at Chelsea, he'll improve over time, and then buy him. But at the same time, if you leave it too long, Chelsea will be like, right, we want 100 mil for him.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. If they don't sell him in January, Callum Hudson-Odoi has, 6 months left of the season, isn't it?
I think so.
He has 6 months to prove himself and prove that he can be a regular starter for Chelsea.
To be honest, I'm lost with Chelsea because if they're thinking they're going to lose Hazard, which is a fair assumption because they very well could easily lose him. If they're thinking they're going to lose Hazard, and they've then brought in Pulisic to replace Hazard, in my opinion, Callum Hudson-Odoi is a much better and more reliable option than Pulisic at this current moment in time. Because Pulisic, does he even start for Dortmund at the moment? He doesn't, does he? Benched by Sancho, right?
Yeah, he got benched by Jadon Sancho. Because you've got no, I think he's playing out of position at left wing. Because I think you've got Royce up top, Götze in behind him. Because I swear to God, Götze got a centre forward in form on FIFA last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got Götze in behind him, Sancho on the right, Pulisic on the left.
But just look, right, okay. Maybe he is playing. Look at his stats from the left wing. He's played 11 games, he's got a goal and 2 assists.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I'll check this because I can check it.
And that's this season. Last season, 32 games, probably at that left wing spot, so you'd think he'd get a couple. 4 goals, 5 assists. The season before that, 29 games, 3 goals, 6 assists. That's actually, in my opinion, a better season for him. A way better season, actually, because he's played 3 less, only scored 1 less, but got 1 more assist. And from the left wing, you'd think that. But the thing is, you don't hear about him. So how is someone you don't hear about gonna come in and replace Hazard? Whereas Callum Hudson-Odoi, everyone knows who he is, really. If you know your football, you know who he is. Because he's proved himself. He's proved that he can play for Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no.
So,
Pulisic isn't playing. Yeah, Sancho's benched him.
Benched by Sancho.
They've got Larson at left mid, and then Alcacer up front. Because Götze's not even playing.
Yeah, I mean, Pulisic benched by Sancho, but Chelsea bring him in thinking he's good enough. It's a very debatable move, in my opinion, and I'm sure it's the opinion of a lot of other people, even Chelsea fans aren't sure about it.
Yeah, and with us lot reminding them that he's a United fan.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, is just funny, but that's just me.
There was a time where I would have wanted him at United, because seeing him at... What would he have been? That season he got 3 goals and 6 assists in 29 games.
16.
He would have been very young.
First season, he was 16.
And so you'd think, at that point, you're thinking, yeah, this is a good signing. Now, I wouldn't want him now.
But then you've got to look at the calibre of young players now, thanks to Kylian Mbappe.
That's another problem, though, because every young player you say is good. Like, Rashford is having a great season. He's been brilliant the last few games. But there's always that, but what about Mbappe?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Mbappe hasn't... he's proved it against City in the Champions League. That's City in the Champions League. They've never been good in the Champions League. They got to the semi-final once in their entire history. Where's the logic in that? Everyone said... See, that's the thing, though. Everyone said, Ibra would never do it in the Prem. He came over, snagged a lot of goals.
Yeah, that's true.
And left. Now he's doing it over in the MLS, like.
The thing is, right, there's Ibra's style of play worked in the Prem because he wasn't a fancy player. He was ball comes over the top, he puts the ball in the back of the net, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Kylian Mbappe, if you watch him play, he stands around a lot. When he gets the ball, he stops, he thinks, he does these stupid little skill moves. In the intensity of the Premier League, he's getting caught up for doing that. Yeah, like you have a second to think and someone's on you. That's where Mbappe will fall down. It would, in my opinion, if he was to come in the Premier League, that would be his issue. Whether he could adapt to that is another question. But
it's like it's like everyone says, "Oh, Messi couldn't do it in the Premier." Yes, he can. Messi can do it in any league he wanted to. He just doesn't want to leave Barcelona.
See, Messi. To be honest, Messi has proved himself in the Champions League. Like, you think Messi outperformed the 2010 United team in that Champions League final?
Messi outperformed Ronaldo in the Champions League final.
Yeah,
but when he played for United.
When he beat the 2010, was it 2011 Champions League final?
No, he beat because we won the Champions League the year before. We then got to the final, got Barcelona, and Messi utterly destroyed us.
Yeah, and at that time, we were the best team in England.
Exactly. I mean, Messi out-headed Rio Ferdinand, for God's sake. Like, anyway.
Right, and in the 2010-11, because they beat us 3-1. I remember watching that game. But I don't know. Ronaldo fanboys really confuse me.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, speaking about transfers, United are linked with Manolas.
That's a relatively new one. I don't know much about him, to be honest. I know he's a decent FIFA card.
Well, I mean, he is the reason that Roma beat Barcelona last season. Was it last season?
Yeah. One season, whenever it was. My fear, though, is it another Alderweireld situation? Because Alderweireld had a very good season once, and based off of that season, whenever his name comes up, we always think, oh yeah, he'd be a great signing. But the realistic thing is, recently he's not been that great. He's starting to pick up his form again, I think. But
that's because he's been benched by Davinson Sanchez.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
But then if you're thinking Davinson Sanchez is benching him, so if Alderweireld's not a good enough centre-back to play for Tottenham, he shouldn't be getting anywhere near our team.
No.
Realistically. Any player who cannot get into Tottenham's team doesn't deserve to even be in the club. Because, yeah, Tottenham. I mean, Koulibaly or Manolas, either one. I still want Ramos. I know fully well we won't get him, but I still want Ramos.
I only want Sergio Ramos for one reason and one reason only.
Salah.
He scares the shit out of Liverpool fans.
He scares everyone though. Like, realistically, if you imagine coming to not only Old Trafford, but to a revitalised under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer United team with Sergio Ramos at centre back, you're gonna you're not gonna score.
No, because that'd be terrifying.
Ramos and De Gea. Good luck. Yeah, you're not going close.
No, like you wouldn't want to go near that back line.
I honestly, this is my ever pessimistic self. I don't think we're going to sign anyone.
See,
because
we've got, what is it, 29 days now till the window closes.
See,
we've got 29 days to sign a centre back.
I don't know, because if the Glazers didn't back Mourinho, what's going to make them back Arteta? That's my worry. Ollie's only here for a short time.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless we get him at the end of the season, which, based on his current form, I hope we do. But let's say Ollie's not staying at United and we're going to get Pochettino in or whatever. How likely are the Glazers going to be to go and buy a player that Ollie wants? If Ollie says, look, I need a centre-back. Or maybe Ollie could be what makes him realise, because Mourinho was there the whole time saying, I need a centre-back. And now if Ollie comes in, like, I need a centre-back, maybe they'll actually realise that we do need a centre-back.
Maybe because Ollie's a club legend, things are going to start changing. Because, as you were saying to me last night when we were playing clubs, Fergie's somehow, weirdly, a lot more involved now.
But it doesn't take a lot to look around the club, alright? You look at just the club in general now. At the games, Brian Robson was there against Bournemouth, watching. Haven't seen him around. And the Huddersfield. but I haven't seen him around at games for
Yeah.
a while. Sir Alex was down at the training ground. Mike Phelan's
I
back.
I haven't seen Fergie smile at the end of the United game for a while.
To me, it feels like we're trying to bring the same atmosphere back because Fergie's back around. You got legends coming back. Ollie's in charge. It feels like the old Manchester United feel is coming back, and that's the plan. And the thing is,
it's who was it? Martin Tyler was commentator on Sunday.
I think so. Yeah.
He even said when he scored that first goal, he even said, "This is vintage Manchester United."
Everything. It feels to me like after the Liverpool game. Obviously, there was that clip of Sir Alex crying and shaking his head. It feels to me like after that, Sir Alex basically just took over in a way.
Exactly. Like, what I feel is, I said this to you, but this is me being really optimistic, is if Ollie doesn't get the job, the way they're getting Fergie involved again, is I feel like they're going to offer Fergie the job. And if they do, and
I think to be honest, the job is always there in my opinion for Fergie, but I don't think he'll take it. I think
that's probably what they've said to him is, if you ever reconsider this, the job's always there.
Yeah, or get rid of whoever it is at the time, just come back. I'm it's kind of on the same level of optimism as you, but my theory is, yes, Ollie is the face of the team. He's the manager, and he's down in the dugout. But I still have a little feeling, based on how active Ferguson's been, that when it comes to training and it comes to the changing rooms, I feel like Fergie is there, and I feel like he's not the manager, but he's making the same impact on the team as he would have when he was manager. And he's still...
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're a United player and seeing and talking and being spoken to by Fergie doesn't make you want to win, you don't deserve a spot at the club. I just feel
you don't deserve to wear the badge.
Yeah,
Simple as.
The basic fact of the matter is, if Fergie has a go at you, you're gonna click back into gear.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what was it Ollie said? Hold on, I'm trying to find the quote now.
But then at the same time, another thing that makes me optimistic for the transfer window, Ollie, like you said, he's a club legend. Everyone loves Ollie.
Exactly.
If Ollie comes out saying, I need this, I need that, and they don't give it to him, there's not going to be anyone supporting them anymore. There were a few people who stuck with the Glazers when it came to Mourinho. But with Ollie, if they're not giving Ollie what he wants, they're going to lose the support of the fans. End of conversation. So maybe that is their kind of reasoning if they do go and sign someone. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Shaw's come out and said this got tweeted out about 6 hours ago. Shaw said there's a great buzz around the place with Ollie coming back in. Ollie is a really positive and friendly guy and knows this club really well as he was here for many years. We all back him and want the best for him as much as he wants the best for us. So you can prove that Ollie is doing the job he's meant to be doing.
And there is the reason for Paul Pogba playing well, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is walking around that training ground and he's giving them all little hugs. He's telling them all they're great. Pogba is a egotistical player. He needs his ego to play well. He needs his confidence to be boosted so high that he just doesn't care what he does, because when he doesn't care what he does, it's almost as if the vibe with Ollie has brought the feeling of, if we make a mistake, it's fine. And so everyone just is going for it. And that's the kind of football we want to play. And Paul Pogba having that attention and all the things like he's a world-class player, all the things Ollie has said, that's fueling Paul Pogba's ego. And it's not the right way for a player to play. But if that's what it takes to get Pogba playing well, then that's what we'll have to do.
Yeah.
It's just... I'm loving it at the moment. I'm excited to watch United games, and that's something I haven't felt in a while, because I would never consider, it would never even cross my mind that I wouldn't watch a United game. But recently, I just wasn't excited for it. I didn't want to watch it really.
Exactly. It's like, as I was saying last night as well, Ollie came out and said, never, ever, ever forget where you are and what badge you're wearing.
Yep.
The man's got United running through his blood. Literally. The man bleeds United.
Yeah. It's just I can't believe I'm saying it, but if it was Ed Woodward, but I still don't. I still think it was a lot of Ferguson input to bring Ollie in. But they have done a sensational job, whoever it was, because they just knew what we needed. I can't get over the fact that we've gone from 1 week. It's just like, I always knew there was going to be a change from Mourinho to Solskjaer. We all knew it was going to be a different style of football. But I don't think, in all honesty, as optimistic as we come across on Twitter, I don't think any of us really thought it was going to go as well as it is. Like, we thought we were going to play nice football but lose, in a way.
Yeah.
And now, I don't go in. Bournemouth. Mourinho's in charge. We go into that thinking shaky 1-0 win, maybe even a 1-1 draw. With Solskjaer, I literally went into that game thinking, I can't wait to see us score 4, whatever.
Yeah. Like, it was me that said in a Snapchat group, I reckon we're going to win 6-0. We didn't, but that's how optimistic I am.
Because it's crazy though, and a lot of people won't see it, because we were all like, oh yeah, first game with Ollie, we'll win it 5-1, blah blah blah. We're all talking rubbish, if we're being honest. We weren't expecting that. And then we won it 5-1. And we're all just like, hang about. And now it's like a serious thing. Like, we go into games thinking it's easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, the whole situation with Mourinho was just like this whole, like, it was just a mess, really. Like, and you'd think, you get all these, like, United account, like, I say in air quotes, United fan accounts on Twitter, like, Love United, Hate Glazers, is one of them, that were fans of Mourinho. You'd think, oh, they're probably just supporting the club because they obviously, like Mourinho as a manager.
Yeah.
And you'd think, like, they would have basically fucked off when Mourinho got sacked. But that's the problem. We still have fans. That triggers me because they're not fans.
Like, we've still got people left over that want Mourinho back, is basically.
Exactly. That's the point of triggering. Like, they will never, ever, like, be happy with what Solskjaer's doing.
The problem is, Mourinho, the negative impact Mourinho had was so big that there's still just remnants of it, and that's pretty much those Twitter accounts. There's still, I don't feel like there is in the club. I think the club has fully erased all of him, but in the fan base, there's still little parts of Mourinho bringing us down, and we're really supporting it right now because we've literally spent this whole video talking about Mourinho so far. But it's just, the reason I want to talk about Mourinho so much is because the more we highlight the issues of Mourinho, the more it highlights how good a job Ollie has done. Because they're all like, there's the argument, this is my final thing on Mourinho, there is the argument that United players didn't want to play for Mourinho.
Yeah.
But never has it once been brought up that these United players want to play for Solskjaer. Solskjaer is, everyone's like, oh, it's just because Mourinho left, but Solskjaer coming in has had an impact too. He's a club legend. You look at Solskjaer, you think all the things he's done for United. I think Solskjaer needs more credit.
Anyway, score predictions for tonight. I'm gonna go with. See, that's the thing. How bad's Newcastle's defence been, really?
I mean, Newcastle is a different calibre, it's a different team, it's a different style to the teams we come up against. I think, personally, in all honesty, I'm thinking maybe 3-1. But then that's the thing. I can't predict this team at the moment. I'm going for a definite United win, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I would love, just for the sake of De Gea, to keep a clean sheet because I feel so bad for him at the moment. But
Newcastle conceded 27 goals and scored 15.
Yeah, Newcastle, I think, the first team we've come up against that maybe we could keep a clean sheet on because they don't seem to score.
Yeah, exactly.
How good are their set pieces? Because that's our problem at the moment.
Newcastle, I don't think are really that good from set pieces, really, are they?
And if they're not good from set pieces, I don't see them scoring against us. Because in open play, we've been really good defensively. It's surprised me a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, set pieces is an issue. But and again, you never know. I mean, with an actual manager who knows what he's doing and knows football these days, maybe we like all week we just practice defending set pieces, and now go into games, set piece easy, sorted, done. So yeah, I mean, my one thing, and I never criticise De Gea, but my one thing with De Gea is you don't see him leave his line that much.
No.
He doesn't. He's an incredible shot stopper. He's incredible at close range. But when it comes to crosses and things, you just don't see him like. Ederson throws himself out to get that punch. I feel like if De Gea could just maybe quicker off his line, there's a lot of goals that maybe we wouldn't have conceded if he was there. But then at the same time, you don't know. I just feel like if he came off his line a bit quicker and more often, maybe that would help out. But at the same time, I think I'm right in saying this. Matic turned his back on that goal that Bournemouth scored. That's not on.
No.
You can't be in a United shirt turning your face away from the ball and then end up conceding. We need Herrera in that situation almost, because Herrera's not turning his face away.
Yeah.
That's where Herrera is the more favoured centre mid for me.
Yeah.
He's a battler. It's
like I know Herrera, if he sees a goal going in, he'll probably get on the line and block it with his face.
Yeah, well, Herrera, in many respects, Herrera is one of our most crucial players, because he didn't play much under Mourinho, but what game did he play in? He played in the derbies. He played in the City games.
Yeah.
And in those type of games, he is the best player on the pitch because he fights. He is, in many respects, he's like our centre mid Vidic. Like, obviously, it's very hard to compare him to Vidic, because Vidic is incredible player. But in terms of, like, how much he's willing to just put anything in front of the ball, he is a very close player to Vidic.
Yeah. It's like, so next game's coming up. Obviously, we've got Newcastle tonight at 8. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
Then we've got Reading.
I'm going to. I put a video up on that,
yeah. Then we've got Tottenham.
Yeah, Tottenham.
I don't know if that's at Wembley or their new stadium.
That Tottenham game is the absolute. That is when for me, that's when we decide whether we keep Solskjaer or not.
Yeah.
Because if we
win that, if we win that like 3 or 4-0, or 3 or 4, like 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah.
Then we know Ollie is. It's not the players, it was the manager.
Yeah. Tottenham is the first real test for me.
Then we've got Brighton, Burnley, Leicester, Fulham, and then on the 12th of February we've got the PSG game.
See, that's right. Listening to those fixtures, that's something that hasn't been spoken about a lot. You look at our fixtures recently under Mourinho. What do we have? We've already played Tottenham, right? We've already played Arsenal.
We've played the top 6 already.
We've played all of the top 6 teams.
Yeah.
And that's very important to take into account. I mean, we still weren't doing well against smaller teams with Mourinho, but we've played the top 6 teams at least once, and now we've got a run of easier games.
Exactly. Like, Newcastle game tonight will get 3 points.
Yeah.
Reading will go through.
Yeah. Tottenham.
hopefully 3 points.
I think I could see a draw at Tottenham.
See, that will either be 3 points or a point.
They're
Won't
on
be a loss.
they're on good form. They are.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's
then
what I'm
again,
like.
we're on good form.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
We're
because
the ones scoring more goals.
everyone's
but we're
like
conceding.
you won't beat Tottenham. They're scoring 3 or 4 goals a game. We're scoring 3 or 4 goals a game as well.
Exactly.
That's what.
Then we've got Brighton.
Yeah.
That's another 3 points.
Yeah.
Burnley.
Burnley.
That's definitely another 3
Yeah.
points. Leicester, 3 points. Fulham, 3 points. PSG, first leg,
Is that a home or away first leg?
home, so that'll probably be a 4-1 win. I know I sound cocky when I say that.
I remember I was in school when the draw came out, and I looked at my mates and I was like, we're at Champions League, and do you know what? I always had this thing where I thought Mourinho would go after we were knocked out of the Champions League.
Yeah.
And I think the Glazers saw, or whoever made the decision to get rid of Mourinho, they saw that draw. They saw us get PSG, and they thought we were as good as gone. So they just got rid of Mourinho at that point, I think. But now Mourinho's gone, with Solskjaer playing the football we are at the moment, you got to remember, PSG are winning games 4 or 5-1. They're playing against French farmers.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm very optimistic for the PSG game, but I'm still not convinced that it's going to be a definite going through. But then again, no Champions League game is.
Yeah. See,
I mean, look at Sevilla last season.
Yeah. Exactly. But I feel like we're going to play a weaker team against PSG. Because the game after that is the derby against Liverpool.
You really think we'd field a weaker squad? Yeah, but hang on. Okay, yeah, Liverpool is a huge game. The Champions League and the FA Cup. The Prem's gone, alright? Top 4 could maybe be clutched.
No, hold on.
But
12.
in terms of playing a weaker squad in a Champions League, in order to try and win, frankly, if you take away the rivalry, that Liverpool game is pointless. Even you're about to say we're not playing.
We won't play a weekend team.
Yeah.
There's 12 days in between the first leg of the PSG game and the Liverpool game.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, I think we would have played a stronger squad anyway. I don't think we will ever. Because the top 4 isn't written off, but the Prem, in terms of decent finish, is pretty written off. Yeah. The thing is, the reason why the whole weakened team thing's coming about is because of the mentality we all had under Mourinho. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, we've got Liverpool at Old Trafford, 24th of February.
Right. I am right in saying, right, that if we finish 5th, but Chelsea or Arsenal win the Europa League, because that gets them qualification, then we'll get Champions League. So
yeah, I don't know though if City have been banned from the
that's
Champions
another
League.
Possibility that UEFA. That would be. I don't think that will happen. That's a very big step for them to take. I mean, the way that City have risen to such a high level in football is, frankly, disgusting. But I just don't see anyone doing anything about it, if I'm being honest, because the bottom line is, I mean, they've, as much as I hate it, they've done it very well. Basically, the whatever his name, what is his name? The guy who just feels some money.
Sheikh Mansour, I think.
Yeah, Sheikh Mansour. He basically has just bought a load of companies and just sponsored them with them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just buys UEFA at some point. He probably already has control of half of UEFA, if we're being realistic. Otherwise, how would they have got away with this for so long?
Exactly. It's like the 2022 World Cup. Qatar have just introduced their 100% alcohol tax, so crate beer is going to cost you like £82 something. I am glad I'm not going to the 2022 World Cup. I will tell you that.
The corruption in football is out of control. That's
I'd
the
be
thing.
surprised if they do it where I'll be surprised if in Qatar teams do not walk off the pitch. I will be very surprised.
Well, just the whole World Cup in Qatar to start with was a stupid thing.
I mean, it's in December,
But
November and December.
going back to corruption in football, though, there's a lot of forms of corruption. Mainly,
Yeah.
you've got the whole bias towards teams because of money, yeah, whatever. But you also have all these racial things going on. So you got Sterling, facing, yeah, I mean that's kind of been resolved now because people kind of started to figure it out, and he came out and spoke about it. Obviously, Sterling was receiving a lot of criticism, and it seemed as though the Sun, for the last 4 months at least, everything he does is emphasised above all else. But one thing I do want to bring up, and this is something that I want to publicise as much as possible, Chris, his tweet, and I'll put this on screen whilst I'm talking about it, when he talks about how Pogba is just as much a victim as Sterling, but the problem is he doesn't have the sympathy because United are a hated team. Like, Pogba is brought down by so many people. Like, Graham Souness does not shut up about him, and he gets criticised and criticised and criticised so much, yet it doesn't seem to be noticed because it's the same thing as Sterling, really. Like, okay, Sterling's was publicised a lot more, and maybe Pogba's was a little bit more deserved because he wasn't playing well at the time, but that still doesn't. Well, I just feel like in a time where Jose Mourinho was a problem and no players were stepping up, Pogba was the forefront of the abuse, and I don't think it was because I feel like this
tweets out an article. Paul Pogba's car pictured in the disabled bay at Stretford Centre.
Yep.
Like, obviously, yeah, it's Pogba's Bentley or Rolls or whatever the hell it is.
It was some fancy car, yeah.
Yeah, it was some sort of fancy car, I wouldn't know. But how do we know Pogba wasn't with anyone that got a disabled badge?
Yeah, I mean, Pogba's mum could be in Manchester, and she could be ill or something. Or maybe, and this would never ever get covered because everyone hates him. Maybe Pogba is doing the charity work that he does all the time outside of football that never gets highlighted because he's not a Liverpool player or a Manchester City player. Maybe he's taken some disabled kid that's
maybe he's doing a make-a-wish. You never know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe some a disabled kid that's dream is to meet Pogba. Maybe he's taking him out on a day out. Maybe he's about to take him to Carrington, all this stuff. But the media, they've seen him part in the disabled spot, and that's it.
Yeah, but then again,
you just feel like when it comes to players, because I feel like if it was. I'm trying to think of an example, but let's say it was Aguero.
Yeah.
Or white English. Kane. Let's go with Kane because he's white and he's English, so he's got a lot of support from our English media. With Kane, if he was doing something, if he was pictured parked in the disabled bay, there would be so much research done into it, so much research, and they'd probably ask him about it as well. He'd have a chance to defend himself.
Yeah.
Whereas with Pogba, it's just instant assumption. No research done. Boom, he's parked in a disabled spot. He's clearly using his fame to get around the system and he's stealing disabled people's parking spaces. There you go. Everyone hates Pogba. Mission accomplished. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I think we need to round off in a minute because
it's getting a bit long.
The Pogba racism thing's triggering me a bit.
It's something that's not highlighted enough, and it really frustrates me. Because, and it's not just Pogba, obviously. I just want to get this point across. It's not just Pogba. There's City players. There's City players of different ethnicities. There's Arsenal players of different ethnicities. Like, what was it? That young City player that young black City player that was that bought his mum a house, and they compared it because didn't Phil Foden buy his mum a house, and that City player bought his mum a house, and Phil Foden, he's a loving son. The what would you say the City player's name was?
Thierry Ambrose, I think.
Yeah. So Thierry Ambrose goes and buys his mum a house, and it's he splashes all this money, blah blah, all this stuff, and it's just there are certain agendas in football that I just don't see being resolved in the next few years, because the problem is we've got this generation of fans coming through. Well, you say fans, this generation of people who watch football coming through, where that's what they've grown up with, and that's the problem. Because right now, I can imagine you got these commentators constantly going at these young or old, regardless, players of different ethnicities, and you got kids watching at home. Imagine like some 7-year-old in a few years' time is going to be on Twitter racially abusing people because that's what he's been told. And that's the problem.
It's like Chelsea fans abusing Willian.
Yeah, that's something that I'll never get. Like, I mean, racism is just completely there is no defense for racism. But then imagine taking that racism and applying it to your own player. Like, that's like taking something that couldn't possibly be imagined to be worse and somehow making it worse. Like, they've somehow taken racial abuse, which is the absolute top, the absolute top of abuse, like something it's just unacceptable, and they've somehow managed to make it worse. And I feel that there is an element of me that feels for Chelsea fans though, because I've got obviously CFC Riley, who I'm good friends with on Twitter. He's a Chelsea fan. He's not racist. He doesn't abuse players. He's got a very clear idea of football, but because of those one or two, and this is another issue in football, one fan somehow manages to represent all the fans. It's like Liverpool fans, there's a big rivalry, but they're not all that bad. There's
a Chelsea fan, right, that got suspended for 7 days for making a joke about William's mum, and he goes and tweets when he gets unsuspended, or he tweeted 19 hours. No matter what Twitter do to my accounts, it will never stop me from wanting Willian to join his mum.
Yeah.
It's vile, it's disgusting, they're not football fans.
And the problem that you have then is in comes mainstream media, launches attacks on Twitter. Twitter is an area where now racial abuse happens and everyone hates people on Twitter. Then it launches an attack on Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans are under constant abuse these days because of one or two idiots, and it's all because people are so oblivious. And it comes back. It's the same problem across everything. It's the same problem across performance by players. It's the same problem with like racial abuse, and then and all this is the basic fact of the matter is that everyone is so oblivious to everything now. No one can be bothered to do the research, and everyone just assumes the worst, and that is just where everything falls down. And we've somehow managed to turn a podcast that was meant to be about the United game later into a debate on racial abuse and the corruption of football. But at the end of the day, it's something that needs to be highlighted, really, and it's
true.
I mean, if I honestly, the things I would do with just a minute on TV that everyone can see, the things I would say, I'd love it, because there's so many things that have to be clarified, but no one listens to people anymore.
Well, yeah, true. No one listens.
Everyone's so caught up in themselves that they don't listen.
I mean, then again, if we could get even the message across through this,
that's the thing.
It's going to be amazing.
And I mean, you see it every day on Twitter, but the problem is, like, football Twitter's getting used to it now, or FT, whatever you want to say, because you got people like Chris tweeting these things, and people are slowly coming around. But the problem is, as big as FT is, and as good as the debates are on there, we can never get that up to mainstream media, because it's like going into YouTube now. It's like the same issue with YouTube. You got YouTubers doing stuff, and mainstream media is constantly looking down, constantly,
exactly.
and we're just silenced by people, because the people in mainstream media probably got into mainstream media through the use of racial abuse. Piers Morgan is only as well known as he is because of his constant abuse of people.
Well, he's as well known as he is for hacking a dead girl's phone. Let's not put it lightly.
Yeah, but the reason everyone knows you ask someone, who's Piers Morgan? Oh, he's that guy that just constantly has a go at people. That's how he rose to fame. He rose to fame through hate. And now that we're highlighting that, that's it. Shut him down. We'll probably be labelled as, goodness knows what. But we'll be labelled as negative, as something negative now, for trying to stand up to it.
Exactly. It's like we're probably gonna get labelled as like people who don't get the system. Yet the system's fucked. The system is completely fucked.
Yeah, it's just. Well, it's it's just a. Oh, I don't know. The whole world's corrupt at the end of the day, and we're just trying to highlight the football side of it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, yeah.
Like everything is gone politically correct mad.
Oh, it's just so ridiculous, isn't it?
Like, how long's it gonna be till it hits football?
Yeah, I mean, right. Okay, that's right. We're going all out on this now. We're just gonna talk about society, feminists. Okay.
Oh no.
Feminists. I have no. Let's not get this confused. I have no issue at all with equal rights. In my eyes, everyone is the same. Okay, sure. Whatever. If a woman wants to go out and be a scientist, none of us are stopping you. But it comes to a point where feminists are getting hate, not because we don't want equal rights, but because Doctor Who, prime example. You do not need to make things different for political correctness. I think. Look, do you know what? It was Mark Goldbridge. Mark Goldbridge tweeted the most brilliant response to it, and I'm gonna try and find it now. You keep talking.
Because I'm blocked by him.
He tweeted the most. It was a while ago, but it was something along the lines of that we have no issue with equal rights. If you want to advertise the strength of different genders, sure. Make something new. Don't change something historic. Is the point you tried to get across? Are people forgetting we had the Sarah Jane Smith adventures for a while in terms of Doctor Who. I mean, unfortunately, Elizabeth Sladen passed away. I want to say Elizabeth Sladen. That might be wrong.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
That was heartbreaking because
I know.
She was the face of female Doctor Who. At the end of the day,
I remember because the news broke like I think it was an hour before the premiere of Series 6.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
That was the face of female Doctor Who. So if you want to promote the strength of females through a show like Doctor Who, you make a spin-off at the end of the day.
Like, spin-off.
And people are like, "Oh, we hate Superman." Are you unaware that you've got Supergirl? It just frustrates me so much.
Like the first ever superhero, and then obviously we had this trend of superheroes, and then obviously superheroes started to get big around the time Spider-Man showed up.
Yeah, and it's like, and people are like, "Oh, we want Iron Man to be changed to a female." No, you don't change Iron Man to a female. You make a new one. Pepper Potts is now getting an Iron Man suit in Endgame, isn't it?
Exactly.
There you go. There's your female Iron Man. Don't bin off Tony Stark because of your agenda. Make a new one.
It's like Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Gwen. What gender is Gwen Stacy?
Yeah, they've done a brilliant job there.
They did a brilliant job with that.
Into the Spider-Verse is basically a massive hello. We accept everyone in this, and that's the thing. I don't I don't have a problem with anyone and their interests. All right.
No.
What annoys me is when it's like, okay, we're going on like gay people or the LGBTQ community. Well, I'm not sure how many letters there are these days. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Like, be who you want to be, but don't.
I don't care.
Yeah, don't, like, we will accept you, but don't come up to it. Like, it's the fact that they try to make out that everyone who's not gay now is some sort of evil person.
It's like, what? Like, Jesus. It's like, see, this is the thing. When they announced Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, for Doctor Who, since we're on the point of feminism and all that shit.
Yeah.
Peter Davison didn't agree with it. And there were feminists sending Peter Davison hate. It's like, he played the Doctor. All he said was, I don't think the Doctor should be female. The role has been male for 55 years. Keep it that way, because the Doctor is a male character.
Yeah.
That's all he said. I'm probably going to get hate from...
But the thing is, here's the fundamental issue. No one's allowed to have an opinion anymore. Because my opinion is that the Doctor shouldn't be female. That's not me saying I hate females, don't give females lead roles. That's me saying that my opinion is that the character of the Doctor should be a male. Exactly. That's the thing. And that's where the downfall is, because now that's going to be seen as, oh, he hates women. No, I just want to keep iconic characters the way they are. Probably an hour, maybe more, of just us talking. So there you go.
And if Jay Lingard season's listening, you're a twat. I had to roast Kai.
All right.
I had to roast Kai.
And if Noah's listening, pass the ball on pro clubs. Anyway. Yep. I guess we just see him next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
hopefully
the United, the reaction to the United game. Should record that, hopefully.
Yeah. That'll be a positive one. That'll be less social.
Less tangent-y.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll everyone that I've referenced in the video, so Chris, Mark Goldbridge, I'll leave them all in the description. I'll also show the tweets on screen. But yeah, thanks for listening. And
link Kai as well, because I mentioned Kai.
Nah, we're not linking Kai. No, that's Kai.
Right. Nah, he doesn't get credit.
A bit.